You're listening to the Things of That Nature podcast. Coming to you from a city that never sleeps is me, your host, Rockshana. I invite you to join me in truly honest, passionate, and fun talks that motivate, invigorate, and maybe inspire. Even though we're no longer in the mile high, the sky is still the limit. Everything and anything goes. So let's start talking about things of that nature. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Things of That Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rockshana, and today we have someone that's been through it, but she is still smiling and cheery and positive, and I think her story will help and, like we say, motivate and invigorate. So I think it'll motivate, invigorate, and inspire everyone around. Today's guest is Kim Becker. So hi, Kim. How are you?
Hi there. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day. What part of the world are you talking to us from?
I'm in Indiana. I'm northern Indiana, like Notre Dame area is where I'm at.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm in Vegas.
Oh, awesome. It's sunny there all the time, isn't it?
Sunny all the time, nice and hot. It's great. I love it.
So do you live in downtown, like in the downtown, or are you on the outskirts of Vegas?
I'm on the outskirts.
Okay.
I knew myself in being downtown would just be a problem. So I decided to just stay on the outskirts. And if I need to, and I want to go downtown, it's not too far, but really we get the business done outside of the city.
Well, my question was going to be, they call it the city that never sleeps. And so I wondered where you were at and how your sleeping was in the city that never sleeps.
Yeah, I fit right in. I still don't sleep.
I understand.
So you're a business owner, but also you went through some stuff before that happened. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us.
I kind of changed gears. So my journey started where when I graduated from high school, I wanted to go to law school. And it ended up, back in the day when I was going to go to school, there wasn't anything like a 529 plan, or, my parents didn't have a lot of money. And so I went to a private Catholic high school, and they said, if law school is something that you want to do, that you're on your own, you got to figure it out. So I was working at a tanning/hair salon at the time. And the girls that were there said, we got a great idea. You ought to go to beauty school before you go to law school, because if you go to beauty school, you can actually learn, how to cut hair. You could cut the hair of all the people that lived in your dorm, charge whatever, $10-15 for it. And you could literally pay your way through law school just by cutting hair. And I thought, well, that would keep me out of a fast food restaurant. It would keep me out of being a waitress, all those things. Mm-hmm. So I thought, okay, let's do that. So that's what I did. The fall after I graduated from high school, I started beauty school, and I loved it. And I never went to law school. I absolutely loved it. And so I was a hairdresser for 30 years. My goal was always to open a salon. And so when we first opened the salon, I was an educator for a natural nail care company. And I had visited this salon that was in Southern Illinois, and it had a very French flair to it. And so it was a chateau looking building, and they served like champagne and cheesecake to all of their clients. And I thought, when I open a salon, that's the salon I want. I want that type of salon. And so that was my dream, was to always open a salon. And so when we first started talking about it with my late husband, I had said, I want to open a salon. He's like, that's great. We should call the salon Hello Gorgeous. And I said, that's the stupidest name I've ever heard. I said, we're not going to call it Hello Gorgeous. He said, no, it'll be really great, because every time you answer the phone, you say hello gorgeous, and you make people smile on the other end. And I said, no, it's stupid. We're not doing it. Because I had visited this salon, and the name of that salon was called Shavu. So I won, and we opened a salon, and we called it Shavu. And we owned it for about 10 years. And there was always something that was missing. And I can't tell you anything except that. Like, there just was an emptiness. There just was something that wasn't right. It wasn't fulfilling. And so I thought it was the salon. So every year we would remodel the salon. I would add stylists. I add extra services, all the things that you could do. When that didn't do it, I thought, well, maybe we need to be bigger. So we moved from 1,000 square feet to 3,000 square feet. And we had 17 stylists, and I had a massage therapist and a receptionist and everything that you could think of. And it was awesome, except that emptiness was still there. It didn't fill that. And so I thought maybe it was me. Maybe I needed to go train at all these places. I didn't have the education I needed. So I studied all over. I went to Pivot Point in Chicago and Hair Color USA in Miami. And one of my big dreams was to study at Vidal Sassoon in London. And so I did that. And none of that filled that void. So our son was 3 years old at the time. And just to give you a conceptual, he's 20. He'll be 20 in June. But our son was 3 years old at the time. And we were driving back from Indianapolis. And I was having this conversation with Mike, telling him about, there's something more we should be doing. We're not doing all that we should be doing. And all of a sudden it fell on my heart. And I said, I know what it is. We need to have a mobile day spa that caters to cancer patients. We need to have this beautiful, elegant palace on wheels that will treat these women like a queen for a day during a time where they don't feel very special. Now, if any of your listeners are business owners, they can identify with this. And that is it. When you own a business, people think that you're independently wealthy and that you make this big wad of cash and that you put this big wad of cash in your pocket and you live this luxurious lifestyle. And that can't be further from the truth, because just about the time for us anyway, we got a little money setback, the water heater would go out or the furnace would stop working, or there was something that was happening that would drain the savings. So I'm pitching this idea to him. He's all about it. Let's get us out of the salon, whatever we need to do. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? We're going to do this for free. And I watched all the color run out of his face. And he said, how are we going to do this? And I said, I have no idea. I just know this is what we're supposed to do. So him being the husband that he was, he stopped at a bookstore on our way home and bought me every book he could find on free money for dummies and grant writing for women and grant writing for dummies, all of those things. And he got back in the car and I was so excited, and I'm talking to him a mile a minute and I watched his ears slam shut. He did not want to have this discussion at all. So we got about 30 minutes from home, and our son woke up from a nap and we were walking into a McDonald's play area, and I grabbed a hold of Mike's arm and I looked at him and I said, you know what, Mike, this is supposed to be called Hello Gorgeous. The salon was never meant to be called Hello Gorgeous. Now, 10 years had lapsed from the time we started the salon when he wanted to name it Hello Gorgeous to this moment in time. And I said, this is supposed to be called Hello Gorgeous because that's how these women deserve to be greeted. And so here we are. We sold our salon, and 16 years later, we have a nonprofit that we help women with cancer smile when they look in the mirror. And I have the best job in the whole world.
That is awesome. I appreciate the fact that whenever you're a moment of, hey, there's something missing, you improved. You found some way to improve, which also in turn helped you create Hello Gorgeous into it being this company, this business that you have today.
Well, and it's interesting too, because, God puts us through things and we don't have any idea why we have to go through them. And so I struggle, I fight him on those things. And it's not till later, maybe it'll never be revealed, but it's not till later that it'll be revealed as to why you went through that. So I look at the salon, I sat back and I wondered, why did I ever have to open the salon? Why did I ever have to go through that? Why did I need to learn how to do that? Well, through our program of Hello Gorgeous, there are more than 800,000 women a year diagnosed with cancer. And that doesn't include the women that were diagnosed the year before that continue to go through treatment. So we got the mobile day spa. We did all the things. I'm only helping one woman at a time. Well, I don't care how passionate I am. I can't get to all the women that need to be helped, but I needed an army of individuals that had a heart like me, and that's the hairdresser. So we developed a salon affiliate program. We developed a program that we go in and we take to salons now, and we train salons how to create the Hello Gorgeous makeover. But we teach them things that they weren't taught in beauty school. We were never taught how to be aware of a woman with a compromised immune system. We were never taught to be aware of somebody that may have some sort of an autoimmune disease. So that's what the education that I teach is all about. However, had I not owned the salon, there's no way that I could have known what to do. So when I walk into a salon, I'm like, I get you. I was there. I know what it's like. I created a program that was user-friendly, that was easy to follow, because I understand as a former salon owner, all the things that needed to go into your day-to-day. The last thing you needed to do was add one more thing to your plate. But this particular program will actually help to level up your business because of the fact that nobody else is doing it. I tease all the time and I say, I stood behind the chair for 30 years. And not once did a media outlet, news reporter, magazine, newspaper ever call me and say, Kim, I heard you were doing an awesome haircut and highlight. Can we come and do a story on you today? Not once, never. But I tell you what, when I'm transforming the life of a woman battling cancer, you better believe the media will come out.
Yep.
And so there are so many salons. I don't know how it is in Las Vegas, but where I'm at, it seems like there's a salon. Sometimes there's 3 salons on one block. And so to get it where you are actually trying to make yourself set apart, being a part of our program allows you to do that, because you get to use your talent and use your license to transform the life of a woman battling cancer. And it's pretty amazing to watch.
Wow. What was that transition like for you mentally, of every few years or every year where it was, I'm missing something? Like, what was that mentally for you?
It got hard after a while, because I'm like, why am I not getting it? Why am I not seeing this? Why am I not? And I learned that I couldn't do it by myself. So when I actually made the decision to step out from behind the chair and actually go full time with Hello Gorgeous, I hired a life coach, because I said, I can't do this on my own. I need somebody to walk me through what this new life is going to look like. I knew how to manage my appointments. I knew how to manage my book. I didn't know how to sit behind a computer. And that defined me, right? Being a hairdresser is what defined me. All of a sudden, I didn't have that definition anymore. Now I was this new person with this nonprofit organization that it's a trailblaze, right? Nobody's doing this. I'm a big one for modeling. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Somebody's already doing what you want to do. Go find them, talk to them, and then just walk their steps. Well, I did that to an extent, but there are very few nonprofit leaders that are still in existence that want to scale this to a national or an international level. And so I can only take modeling so far. And so to be able to have the confidence that I could do this, to be able to have the positive self-talk that I needed to be able to say, look, everything that you read, whatever you need is already inside of you. You just got to find it and pull it out. And so I needed a life coach to really help me walk those steps so that I could be everything I needed to be to all these women that needed that service.
Wow, that's great. And now, do you miss being behind the chair in that salon, I guess, typical salon atmosphere?
There are days that I do, because I love, my favorite part of the day was like 3:00 in the afternoon. So 17 chairs, all the stylists are there, whether they worked in the morning or worked in the afternoon, all the chairs were filled. There were butts in the seats, and that buzz in the afternoon was electric energy like nothing else. And I absolutely love that. And I was so glad. I mean, I would just stand there and the smile on my face would just be so big. And so I miss that. And I miss some of the transformations, right? It's a powerful thing to be able to have somebody come in and just feel horrible about themselves, because they're last on the list, whatever reason. And in 45 minutes, whether it was a haircut or a haircut in color, whatever it was, you could completely transform them and you watched them come alive. Just like we do with the women that we give makeovers to now. I always say that the women that we help with cancer, there's a light inside of them and we just flip the switch. And all of a sudden we turn this on and they just become alive. But I loved those transformations that would happen in that chair, that all of us, they would walk out a completely different person that they were when they walked in.
Okay. Yeah, you still it's rewarding. Sounds like you're getting a lot of reward from it also.
Well, and I think that it's something that you get to see. Do you know what I mean? It would be like you, right? You host this podcast and we do all of this work, but I would imagine what juices you is when you hear it on the other side, right? When it's totally edited and it all comes together and the sound sounds good and the intro is there and the outro is there. And that's when it's like, I did something. And so I think it's the same thing for me. The transformation just happened in 45 minutes. So I was able to watch them come in, one person, and watch them leave a completely different person.
When you're there in the chair, or I guess not so much in a chair, but when you have a Hello Gorgeous lady come in there, was there any, when this first started, full on hesitant of, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't do this?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what it was? So this is a calling for me. And I have no doubt that God called me to do this, because I have no right to do this. I don't have the ability. And I truly believe in God doesn't call the equipped, he equips the called. And if I could do this all on my own, I wouldn't need him. And so when he first called me to do this, I felt silly because it's like, really, I'm so sorry you have cancer. Let me paint your fingernails. That's how I felt.
Mhm.
And I felt that it was just so punitive compared to all the things that they were going through. But then I watched what happened. And these women would come in and they'd be, they'd have a bag in case they needed to throw up. And they looked defeated and they had no color in their face and their shoulders were down. And all of a sudden we brought them in and rolled out a red carpet and greeted them with a great big hello gorgeous. And it was a complete surprise. They had no idea why they were there. And we whisked them away and we gave her a facial and a manicure and a pedicure and did her makeup. And while she was getting her pedicure, we showed her all the new clothes that she got to choose from because we provided a new outfit for her. And we watched her come alive as she put on a fashion show for us. And then at the very end, we watched her walk back into a room full of loved ones that now knew how to actually treat her, walk up to her because she looked like her old self. And that's when I knew that I was doing the right thing, because it wasn't just something little. We have women that come back to us and say, I remember my diagnosis date, my birth date, and my Hello Gorgeous Day. I didn't know how empowering that would be. I didn't know that that would become a pivotal moment in their cancer journey. Many of these women come to us and say, I don't feel girly. And you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how to draw your eyebrows on. You don't know how to counteract the effects of the steroids. You don't know how to, there's some women that didn't know how to put their wig on right. And so because they didn't put it on right, it didn't look the way it was supposed to. And so all of these things that we're able to do for her, I can show her how to feel girly again. I can show her how to do the things that make her feel like a woman, even if it's just, something 2 millimeter. I always say something as minimal as putting lipstick on. People don't realize by putting a little bit of lipstick on, what it does to it adds all this color to your face. All of a sudden, it makes you look alive. You don't look nearly as defeated. And so in the beginning, yes, I would look at this and I would just say, why are we doing this? Mike, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? And then I'd watch these transformations take place. And I knew exactly why we were doing this.
Wow. That made me almost teared up because you can tell the passion of you of why this is so important to you. You found your message, you found your goal. And it really goes to people who are listening or who know someone who's going through this, because it's that moment of not feeling confident, not feeling love for yourself, because you're dealing with so many more things that at that moment are important. Doctor's appointments, making sure things are ready, your kids, and you forget about yourself fully. You just think, I'm being depleted, I'm done, this is my life. But then the small things of just, I'm gonna air quote it, looking pretty, or just really feeling good, you forget about it until someone says, hey, let me paint your nails.
That's right.
Let me do your makeup.
That's right. Well, and I will tell you too, to that point where what we had found is women were selfless. Mm-hmm. And so if I said, I'm sorry you're going through this, to a woman going through cancer, I'm sorry you're going through this, you know what, let me take you for a manicure. The first thing the woman would say, you know what, no, take my mom, because my mom's had to watch me go through this, or take my daughter because my daughter's taking me to every treatment. So we insisted that it had to be a surprise. Yeah. Because if it wasn't a surprise, she'd turn it down. We had one woman, I'll never forget, she looked at us and she said, I didn't know I needed you guys. And that was huge. But if we would have said to her, come with me because I'm going to, give you some pampering, a day of pampering, they would have completely dismissed it and they would have never participated. Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes this so amazing. And there's something about that surprise that creates such a positive anchor. I'll tell you a quick story. And this wasn't a surprise, but the outcome was a surprise. So when we were first starting Hello Gorgeous, I wanted to do a storyboard. So I wanted to take somebody on a journey of what it would look like. And so at the time, my aunt happened to be going through breast cancer. And I loved her. She was my favorite aunt. Aunt Sue, she'll tell you she was my only aunt. But I said, Aunt Sue, can we use you? Can we do the services on you and document it via pictures so that I can tell a story, so that I can make sure that I can do this? And she said, absolutely. And she never let me shave her head, but she let me take pictures of her with her, hair kind of falling out and that kind of thing. And we got it all done and we had a lot of fun and we laughed. 6 weeks later, we were at Easter, and she came up and she gave me a hug. And I something sparked a conversation about her toes. And she said, I looked down and her toenail polish was halfway grown out from when we had done the makeover. And she said, I said, you need to get your toes done again. And she goes, no, I don't. She said, because every time I look down at that toenail polish, I remember that day I got to spend with you and how beautiful you made me feel that day.
Aww.
And so people, and that wasn't a surprise. It was just the pampering that we gave to her that day that made her feel that special. But she loved just looking down at her toes to see that polish, remembering how that polish got there and how it made her feel that day.
That's great. Yeah, you change people. Or you just not change them, but you just make them feel like them again.
That's right.
That is amazing.
That's right.
So how does one reach out to you for their own Hello Gorgeous or a loved one's Hello Gorgeous?
So we've got our website. So for anybody that's interested, I created a free resource. If you go to Hello Georgous /free, it's actually a video, the 12 things that you should know before you start your cancer treatment. So there's all these hints and tips. One of my favorite questions to ask women is, what do you know now that you wish you would have known at the beginning of your cancer journey? And so I took all of those tidbits and I created a video for that. So it's Hello Georgous /free. But anything else, if you go to our website, which is hellogorgeous.org, we are on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And so I would invite anybody to follow us. And I actually have a podcast as well called Hello Georgous, Everything Beauty, Cancer, and Inspiration. And we're on all of the podcast platforms too. So check it out.
That's awesome. I appreciate you coming on and sharing that because, like you said, a lot of people that are going through all this are selfless. They think of everyone else and they're so appreciative of everybody else doing so much for them, but they don't realize that someone's doing so much for you because they love you and because you at one point have done so much for them. Wow. Talk about invigorating, inspiring, sharing a message. Like, I kid you not, held back the cracking in my voice while she was talking and expressing how much of a passion this is for her and what she's doing for these women. It's amazing. I love it. I feel like she gave me a virtual hug. I hope that those that are dealing with cancer or those that have a loved one dealing with cancer will reach out and take hold and take the great opportunity of having a Hello Gorgeous Day and just have fun and remind yourself that you are beautiful, you are confident, and you are able to pull through all of this. I'm your host, Rockshana. Today's guest was Kim Becker. Be sure to tune in each week for a new episode. And remember, everything and anything goes. The sky's the limit. Music for the Things That Nature podcast is an original track by Jared Sacramento called Dosage.